England's rebuilding job in Rome began with a victory. This was a long way from being a masterpiece ready for the Pantheon, but nothing here was built in a day. There were errors in defense but flashes of life in attack. Ethan Roots, Alex Mitchell and Tommy Freeman were their chief architects, but things are still at the cement mixing stage. In their first match of the post-Owen Farrell era, England fought back from 10-0 down to ensure their unbeaten record against Italy remains intact. Expectations on the England team have been tampered in recent years. They had not won an opening match in the Six Nations since 2019, and the smile on Jamie George's face at the final whistle reflected a job done. It was not particularly pretty, but they at least showed more endeavour than they did at last year's World Cup. Satisfactory but not sensational, not one for the Roman history books. When news broke 90 minutes before kick-off that Ellis Genge had been ruled out with a foot injury, there was no sense of alarm amongst the travelling punters, dressed as emperors and foot soldiers. Victory often feels like an inevitability here, and anything less would have been disastrous. On paper, there were vulnerabilities in the English ranks. A new captain, a new midfield, a new identity. And things did not go their way in the early exchanges. They have recruited a new defence coach in Felix Jones, but, in the first half, their structure was full of holes. Tacklers flew up individually, disjointed, losing their width and leaving open spaces for the Italians to exploit. They conceded 3 penalties in the first 6 minutes, with Tommy Allen kicking the opening points when Maro Itoje strayed offside. Scrum half Alex Mitchell kept his clearance kicks in play and Italy simply ran it back. They were daring and ambitious, with Juan Ignacio Brex linking up with Lorenzo Cannon to set up Alessandro Garbisi for a long-range opening try. England relied on their fresh faces to keep them in touch. Roots averaged 7 metres from every bruising carry, while Freeman offered a little more dynamism out wide. Winning collisions and cutting sharp lines, Elliot Daly scored England's first try of the tournament to narrow the gap after 20 minutes, adding to George Ford's penalty. But Italy were composed and structured, scanning the field before they launched their next long-range attack. This time, Paolo Garbisi looped around Brex and tempted English defenders to bite. It was hard to tell who in the backline was leading the defence, a role that Owen Farrell relished, and they left half the pitch empty for Allen to score down the right. Ford kicked 2 more penalties before half-time and, as they usually do in this fixture, England asserted more scoreboard pressure in the second half. After Freeman threw a quick line out to Freddie Stewart, England knitted together 5 phases before Mitchell made a slippery run from the ruck to score. In the second half, England's collective line speed improved. They forced Italian errors, earning their first scrum put in after 54 minutes. They won a penalty at the set-piece, allowing Ford to add 3 more points. And after England's number 10 kicked his side 10 points ahead in the 67th minute, he made way for debutant Finn Smith. Chandler Cunningham South and Manny Feiwa also joined the action, as England began to look to the future. Cunningham South made a huge covering tackle in defence, but the tourists failed to pull away. Daly was sin-binned for a trip in the 76th minute, before Monty Yohan scored a long-range try at the death.